It is one of the most essential thinking tools ever discovered. It states that between you and anything you want to accomplish, there is always a constraint, a limiting factor, or a choke point that influences the speed at which you approach your goal. Just a few minutes ago, I was speaking on a teleconference. I raised this question: let's set the objective of doubling our income. You want to double your income? Great. Then ask yourself, why isn't your income already twice as high? In business, we don't only focus on double income, we concentrate on profitability. What truly important is net cash flow, the amount we take home at the end of the day, not simply gross sales, but the actual earnings. So, if you aspire to earn twice as much, and everyone here can and will earn 2, 3, 4, or even 5 times more in the future, you must first ask, why am I not presently making twice as much? The number one factor for most individuals is distraction. They are engaged in pursuits of low or no consequence. The 80-20 rule applies to constraints. 80% of the issues holding you back from attaining your financial goals are within you and your firm. They are not external. It's not the competitors, the market, laws, or taxes. Most limits are internal. The mark of a superior individual is the ability to perceive this. When presented with an issue, they wonder, what is it in me that is causing this? Mike and I understand this well. In the sphere of health, for example, 85% of illnesses are psychosomatic. As Dennis Waitley put it, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you. Doctors and psychiatrists frequently start by asking, what unsolved issue are you avoiding? This brings us to zero-based thinking. What in your life would you erase if you had to start over? Ask yourself, what is genuinely holding you back? Often, the answer resides in self-discipline or a lack of a vital talent. One epiphany that altered my life was discovering that all business skills are learnable. You don't need to be a genius to master them. Any business skill, any technology, these may all be acquired. Mike has shown this with his products. Someone who formerly shoveled shoe polish can be trained to be technologically proficient and earn a living from it. So, ask yourself, what one ability, if mastered, will help you the most to double your income? If you could wake up tomorrow as a master in just one business talent, what would it be? When given with this question, most people instantly know the answer. The problem: they resist learning that skill since it includes rejection, embarrassment, ego, probable failure, and risk. But no one asked what the easiest skill to learn is. They asked which skill will help you double your income. Research suggests that most people are just one skill away from tripling their income. Business executives who ascend the ranks in the Fortune 500 or 1000 do it by mastering one talent at a time. They employ a sniper approach. One shot, one kill. They don't try to learn 50 things at once. They choose the most critical skill and focus on it, just as successful organizations do when pushing for sales and profitability. Now, let's talk about what I term in business. There are 7 main areas, though in my 3-day lecture I cover 10. The first is great leadership. Leadership is about generating outcomes and efficiently allocating resources, which entails making tough decisions. If decision-making were easy, everyone would be a leader and wealthy. Peter Drucker said the first responsibility of a leader is to ask, what results are expected of me? I add to that, of all the expected results, what is the most important one for achieving sales and profitability? One key rule in business is to never complain. If you are the leader, you are in charge. If you don't like something, change it. Complaining about staff, you hired them. If they are not right for the position, replace them. Otherwise, you're just making yourself appear silly. It's like taking food from a buffet and then whining that you loathe it. Well, why did you take it up in the first place? If you don't want to change something, then accept it and go on. This leads to another feature of exceptional entrepreneurs. They are solution-oriented. When something goes wrong, they maintain calm and ask, "What's the solution?" Instead of concentrating on issues, they quickly focus on correcting them. The next move that substandard individuals generally take is focusing on who did it and who's to blame. They become caught up in asking how it happened, beginning a witch hunt. Of course, this simply makes them angry and frustrated. But superior leaders, when something goes wrong, whether it's a customer issue, money issues, problems with bills, or product defects, don't get caught up in blaming. They quickly question, all right, how do we solve this? What's the solution? Now, here's the crucial point. Your success in life will be defined by your capacity to solve issues. My friend Colin Powell once observed, leadership is the ability to solve problems. Success is the ability to solve problems. So how do you get really good at solving problems? I recently finished a book called Creativity and Problem Solving, which is being published by Amicom in New York at the end of this year. The reason I wrote it is because I spent years investigating this same topic. The bottom line is this: the way you address problems is by focusing on solutions. Ask yourself, what are all the possible solutions? Be intensely solution-oriented. Don't let yourself become weighed down by negativity or aggravation over the problem or pointing fingers. Focus on the solution and the activities you can take. When you start thinking about solutions, like, we could do this or that, your mind becomes quiet, your creativity is inspired, and your energy soars. You begin to feel more confident. Are you with me thus far? Thinking on difficulties merely makes you negative and shuts off your intellect. Focusing on who's to blame is far worse, but thinking on what you can do and the steps you can take puts you back in charge. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is having an excellent product or service. This was a revelation for me, yet it seems so apparent once you understand it. In business, 90% of your success will be driven by having a fantastic product to begin with. Many people miss this. They think if they have a fantastic product and spend thousands of dollars on brilliant seminars, they'll learn marketing methods to con others into buying it. They waste vast amounts of time and money attempting to market a substandard product. I had a wonderful friend, Mitch, who owned 3 top-tier restaurants. He didn't spend $1 on advertising, yet his restaurants were constantly filled. When people asked, "Where should we go for dinner?" they'd say, "Let's try to get a table at one of Mitch's restaurants." I knew Mitch very well. He worked with my mentor, Dr. Allard, who co-owned the restaurants. I asked him, "What's your secret to promotion? Why are your restaurants usually full?" He simply said, "Well, always place it on the plate." I didn't quite understand at first, so I asked him to explain. He said, "Why serve superb food at reasonable prices and just let the product speak for itself? The eateries are filled 7 days a week. That's the key to success in business. Put it on the plate. Deliver quality in your product or service." I'm sure you've heard of the Inc. 500, the list of America's 500 fastest growing firms over a 3-year period. In the newest edition, the fastest growing company had an astonishing growth rate of 42,500%. Other companies grew by 5, 10, 15, or 30 times in just a couple of years. These were new firms frequently launched by people just like you. So, what was the key to their success? Researchers noticed that these companies were all focused with quality. They worked passionately on offering the best product or service possible, exactly how their clients understood quality. They were customer-centric, always close to their customers. As I stated in my conference today, think like a customer, understand what they want and need. The finest companies are always focused on making their consumers happy and then working to make them even happier than their competitors do. When they interviewed the CEOs of the 500 fastest growing firms, they found that every one of them was fascinated with customers. They thought about customers, visited them, called them, and replied personally to complaints. The focus on clients was relentless. This simply confirms the assumption that 90% of your success in business will come from the quality of your product or service. How can you know whether you have a fantastic product or service? There's a simple exam that predicts your future success more than any other. After customers utilize your product or service, how frequently do they turn to others and comment, "Wow, that's a great product. That's a terrific service. What a terrific company. Those are fantastic people." The frequency of that kind of positive feedback is the true measure of whether you have a great product or service. People say this is an excellent product. What percentage? 50%, 40%. The average in America is roughly 30% to 35%. Top firms like Apple release devices such as the iPod, iPhone, and iPad. When individuals consume these things, the next time Apple announces a new iPhone, they sleep on pavements in line of hundreds to be the first buyers. When Apple releases an iPad, hundreds of people sleep on pavements to purchase it, paying ridiculous amounts. Then they start exhibiting others, asking, "Isn't this a great product?" They demonstrate software, saying, "Look at this app. Look what you can do with it." How many individuals own an iPhone 5? How many of you have shown others the panoramic feature? You know, it used to cost thousands of dollars to acquire a panoramic camera, and now your iPhone includes that function among 1,000 others. People who buy these products become the company's best salesmen. They passionately show off the merchandise, grab others to explain its features, or brag about it. In the movie industry, studios only have enough advertising money for opening weekend. They take out massive ads to lure people into theaters rapidly. After that, a movie either succeeds or fails by word of mouth. Successful films spread because people keep asking, "Have you seen that movie?" Someone at work hears about a movie and resolves to go that very night. Suddenly, the theater is crowded on a Tuesday night. Have you had this experience? Everyone is talking about it. The most vital key to success is clear. Consider the Inc. study, which investigated the best investments a company can make to enhance sales and profitability. After comprehensive investigation, the conclusion was simply spend in improving the quality of your product. Make it better and better. Keep making your customers happier and happier. The key to success is encouraging people to buy from you instead of your competitors, to buy again because they love the product, and to bring their friends. If you make this your driving principle, get people to buy again, and spread the word, you will succeed. You'll be affluent, respected, and most importantly, happy. Nothing offers greater joy than making clients pleased. To succeed, first, become a great leader. Set clear goals, be decisive, and accept responsibility for results. Second, offer a wonderful product and never be happy with its quality. Always strive to improve it in your customers' eyes. One of the greatest marketing revolutions nowadays is customer-driven development. The best companies, following principles like the lean startup, ask customers, "How do you define a great product? Would you buy this? What features do you want? What do you want less of?" Some companies even use the minimum viable product approach, presenting an idea to customers before creating it, collaborating with them to refine it. Only then do they launch and market the final version. Third, have an excellent business plan. A great company strategy needs thinking through essential issues, including costs, pricing, profitability, and the necessary staff. There's a classic story of Napoleon's generals sitting around a table with maps of Europe, planning military maneuvers. Napoleon would step in and inquire what they were doing. When they detailed their strategies, he'd remark, I'm afraid we can't do that. We don't have the horses. The expression, we don't have the horses, stems from this time. His army relied on horses, not just for cavalry, but for drawing wagons, supplies, and artillery. They could recruit additional soldiers as they marched, but horses were limited. The army's success rested on them. Similarly, when Mike talks about acquiring the proper people, he's asking, where do we get the horses? We may have wonderful ideas and know what has to be done, but we need the right people to execute them. These are the considerations of a solid business strategy. What technology will you need? How much will it cost? Who will run it? What kind of advertising, PR, and promotion will you require? What will the returns be? There are many people who have wonderful ideas, but success ultimately rests on execution, strategy, and investing in the correct areas. I'm sure you're aware with various typical business plan formats, but a solid business plan encourages you to think long-term and to make decisions carefully. You'll always make better business decisions when you think long-term and take your time. The fourth key component is having an excellent marketing plan. A great marketing plan is something you discuss continuously, but there's a principle in advertising that I learned during my time at a huge advertising agency. The quickest way to destroy a lousy product is to market it. If you market a substandard product, more people will try it, become disappointed, and then tell others. The product dies from unfavorable evaluations. So, marketing a lousy product is the easiest way to kill it. Many people assume they can earn their money back by selling the goods before enough people realize how horrible it is. But that's not the case. With the internet today, everyone around the world can know instantaneously what's happening. For instance, I was recently in Russia, where the government controls all media. They persuade the audience that the issues in Ukraine are caused by CIA-backed Ukrainians and that the Russian government is only safeguarding the Russian people. I told my friend Sergey, that's nonsense. None of it is true. The only people who believe this are those who have no access to external news. Now, back to my point, marketing is how you attract consumers to your goods or service. There's an obvious difference between marketing and sales. Imagine I were to ask a group, is anyone here hungry? If you raised your hand, that's marketing. It suggests you're interested in feeding your appetite. Now, if I have a restaurant and I say, let me tell you why you should come to my restaurant to satisfy your hunger instead of going to my competitors. The marketing gets your attention, and the sales pitch translates your curiosity into action, compelling you to buy from me. Marketing draws people in, and sales convert that interest into purchases. These are distinct functions. You can't sell without attracting interested prospects. Marketing is a difficult process, and you talk about it all the time. So, how can you tell whether you have a solid marketing plan? The solution is simple. You have a regular stream of interested prospects who contact you, email you, or show up at your door. They might even sleep outside your shop to be the first ones in the morning. The fifth thing is that you need a great sales plan. A great sales plan consistently and reliably transforms potential consumers into actual customers. Here's the rule. Every successful firm has a professional sales procedure. If you speak to a salesperson in Warsaw, Los Angeles, or Johannesburg, they all follow the same method. The initial contact is a phone call when they provide a benefit and seek to set up an appointment. The terms they employ are exactly the same, regardless of location. This company almost went bankrupt because their salesmen were selling in their own style, saying whatever came to mind when they saw a prospect. They concluded that without a defined sales procedure, even a fantastic product wouldn't sell well. Once they systematized their sales procedure, their sales improved dramatically. It has been proved that switching from random selling to an established sales procedure can improve sales by 500% with the same number of prospects. I've seen sales closing rates improve from 1 in 10 to 9 in 10 simply by simplifying the sales process. Selling is vital, and that's one of the areas we focus on. 2 more crucial items to cover. First, generating great numbers. This is a key component of business. All company operations and results may be monitored numerically, from the number of phone rings to how long it takes for a consumer to connect with someone who can help them. Jeff Bezos, named as one of the finest entrepreneurs of the year by both Forbes and Fortune, is concerned with evaluating every activity. Amazon tracks everything, including the time it takes to process orders. When Amazon originally debuted, they guaranteed delivery in 5 to 7 days. Now, in areas like San Diego, you may order in the morning and receive your product in the afternoon. They've decreased delivery times considerably since clients value quickness and they're willing to pay top cash for faster service. Look at the numbers. What are the most significant metrics? In any firm, we focus on 35 essential numbers. Some are crucial, others not so much. Among those, 5 to 7 are the essential A numbers, and there's one that jumps out as the most important of all. Jim Collins, who penned Good to Great, refers to it as the economic denominator. When I started coaching entrepreneurs, one of the first things we worked on was determining this important number, the one that most correctly predicts your success and future. Surprisingly, most people fail to recognize it accurately in the first few attempts. What's your number? The one you're continuously thinking about. One company went from barely surviving, reported about in Entrepreneur magazine, to bankruptcy. When a friend asked him what number he was focusing on, he discovered they weren't focusing on any number at all. They didn't track anything seriously. They were just winging it. Aged the end of the day, they were out of business, and the owner had to move back in with his mother aged 26. The advice he received was simple: pick a number. So he sat down and selected what he dubbed net contribution margin, how much net profit they made from each transaction after covering every expense, including client acquisition, lead generation, and delivery charges. They compared these data throughout their sales, and by focusing on it, they turned things around. That concentration eventually led them to 100 million in company, and he claims it revolutionized their life. So, my question for you is, what's your number? Do you know it? Most entrepreneurs react with sales, but is that truly the most important? What if you're losing money on every sale? Selling more would simply push you to bankruptcy faster. Many organizations fail to account for all the costs involved in making a sale: labor, rent, utilities, delivery faults, packaging, theft, etc. Companies could exaggerate about sales figures, like claiming 11 billion in sales, but still report a loss of 3 billion. Why? Because they don't grasp their numbers. They keep selling more yet losing money, never factoring in the full cost. The third factor I'll mention is customer service, and this one is vital for long-term growth. The first stage is to have a fantastic product or service, and the last is to give amazing customer service. Joel and I have spent our lives mastering this, ensuring that customers are delighted at every stage, before, during, and after the sale. It's the secret to repeat business and rapid growth. Every successful firm, without exception, is preoccupied with customer care. If there's a complaint, the firm president can lose sleep over it. They'll personally contact out to disgruntled clients. As Tony Hsieh from Zappos famously quipped, "We're not in the shoe business. We're in the customer satisfaction industry. We just happen to sell shoes." Tony's focus on customer happiness was worth $1.2 billion when he sold Zappos, pocketing $350 million. And it works 100% of the time. So The finest firms, the ones you keep coming back to, are the ones that make you feel valued, appreciated, and satisfied after every transaction. They make you want to return, and you'll bring your friends with you. Those are the 7 pillars of success: exceptional leadership, a great product or service, a fantastic marketing plan, a great sales strategy, solid numbers, a great business plan, and outstanding customer service. If you're missing even one of them, it's like dialing an incorrect number. You're guaranteed to fail. But the good news is, we now know what it takes to develop a high-profit business, and it's all learnable. Every single item I've shared with you is simple to learn. All you need to do is identify the areas where you can improve and go to work.